Oh, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I'm your host, Charles Long. With me, as always, my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, and gunner, Jacob Gloth. How are you doing today, Jacob?
I am contento, Charles.
Oh, contento. I is alrighty. So, have you got a lovely, brand new televisual series to pitch to us this week?
I do. So, it's going to start off with Florence Pugh and Harry Styles hanging out in a car, driving around.
They're driving around?
Olivia Wilde's there, and, everything's a little weird, you know? Chris Pine's there, too.
It's
like a 50s town.
They keep saying it's the 50s, but everything is like it's the 60s. Things are crazy. And
Crazy.
then,
Oh, crap. Wait, I just realized something.
what?
I think somebody stole our idea.
Shit. Just like how somebody stole our idea for the Hellraiser TV series. Did you see that?
Are they doing a Hellraiser TV series?
Yeah, Hulu is doing a Hellraiser TV series. It actually looks pretty cool.
Watch it be the same as your show.
That would be very funny.
The exact same thing.
It ends in space for some reason. That would be very funny. But no, this week is our 120th episode. And do you know what that means, folks? Do you know what that means? It means it's off the bloody dome. It's right off the top of our heads. Off the dome.
I hate that you say that.
So, what we're going to be doing is we're just going to be pitching, coming up with ideas, and we're slowly but surely going to create some sort of characters and a world and a plot line and, you know, themes and stuff.
Yep.
And I was thinking about this last night. Last night I was thinking, what should this...
I'm supposed to think about it.
I know, but I was like, what should we do? Anything?
You know the rules, Charles. Whatever you thought about beforehand's out.
Shit. No invisibility potion.
No.
That was all I thought of, like a 24-hour invisibility potion. But you're right. I know the rules. It's out. Now we have to come up with something
Completely separate. So you had like a horror anthology thing last time.
I did. Last.
Before that, we had a mystery.
Mystery. Spooky, scary mystery.
And then we had an underwater thing. And then we had
spooky, scary
space.
underwater. Nazis underwater. Underwater. And it was...
What's something different?
Yeah, we should do something it's a lighter comedy. We should do something funny, because the last couple of series, they haven't been very funny. You know?
Something funny. I don't really do funny, Charles. You know me, classic unfunny guy.
I know you hate comedy, and...
I do hate comedy.
Any
laughs are for children. Adults should just stare forward into the void.
Adults should be sad. Listen, that's why Batman is an adult character, because he's sad all the time. Batman never smiles.
Unless he's Adam West.
Unless he's Adam West, then he's having fun all the time. He's smiling, he's joking. He has a weird sidekick. I know...
Robin's not a weird sidekick.
Robin is the greatest sidekick in the history of sidekicks, and yet he still wears, like, weird little tights. That I don't get.
There's a reason for that they retconned.
It's because he was in the circus, and they made him dress up like, because he was in the circus, and it made him happier when he was dressed like he was in the circus. I know. It affects his aerodynamicism if his legs are covered, but the cape doesn't do anything to it.
They got a lot of fantasy shows out right now.
Yeah, they do. People are loving fantasy.
Rings of Power, Lord of the Rings.
Something else, probably.
They got the Game of Thrones show, House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon.
Then they got the Star Wars show, which is obviously not fantasy. But, Star Wars is kind of like
Star Wars is
sci-fi
space fantasy. Yeah.
Because they got there's fiction, but there's like knights and...
Yeah, there's knights, there's wizards,
magic.
There's sword fights. That's not really a sci-fi thing.
So close enough. Andor's a good show, by the way.
Andor? Is it?
Andor.
Ooh.
For the kids at home, it's not very hokey compared to other Star Wars shows. Kind of dark.
Kind of dark?
They say bad words, which I don't think happens in Star Wars media.
Did they say Star Wars versions of bad words, or just actual, like...
No, they say shit.
Oh, really?
And stuff like that.
That's weird. Yeah. It seems weird. Do they say it like, that's not worth a pound of bantha shit, or something like that? Or they just say shit? No,
this guy's, like, concerned because all of his men are trapped, and he goes, shit!
Oh.
We gotta get out of here. Something. But it's really not hokey. Good show.
All right. Sounds fun.
Anyway.
And it's got that one
need
actor
something.
he's in the Thor movies.
The one actor in the Thor
He's
movies.
Stellan Skarsgård. Or Stellan Skarsgård's dad. One of the two.
I didn't know he was related to somebody, but yeah.
Yeah, he's related to the guy who was Tarzan a few years ago, and also the guy who was It. The clown, It.
I know that Skarsgård.
Why did...
Anyways, we need a show.
We do need
I
a
was
show.
maybe fantasy we could do.
Maybe we should do a fantasy.
Fantasy's tough, you know? Because if you do fantasy, you gotta, like, we'd have to do a joking fantasy. And we've done that a lot,
We
I feel
have.
like. Or at least I've done it a lot.
Well, if you're interested in a joking fantasy, maybe you could check out our 100th episode special, Delinquents and Demons, a comedic
Oh my God,
fantasy
are you shilling our
series.
other episode while in this episode? We need to keep them here, Charles.
They could open up two
You could do that at the
windows.
end.
They could open up
Two windows? God, you're insane.
two tabs. Have them playing
windows.
simultaneously.
Yeah, because that's not confusing.
It's me. What was the guy's? Tom. And it's me, Jerry. We're here. Those are the characters from the show. Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe a joking fantasy. Maybe we should do something like, how about we have it be black and white, right? Or
The show's in black and white.
shows all in black and white.
We don't even have a plot yet or like anything, and you already making thematic decisions like that.
Yes.
Okay.
How about we have it be like one of those like 40s like adventure serial sort of situations, you know, where like a band of adventurers go like journeying into the Arctic or like a lost continent or whatever, and they meet all sorts of
Okay, I see
crazy
it.
like tribes and monsters and shit.
All right, so we got a band of explorers. They're going to, let's say,
The newly discovered continent of another Australia. Australia 2. How's that sound?
that does, okay. Does that? Should we want to do a real place?
No, we should do a different place that isn't named Australia 2. The newly discovered
2.
continent of Germany. No, let's think. It's a good name for a continent.
So if we're doing explorers, right? And this is a joke show. We could make them go to a place that's already clearly been discovered,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and then have them name it.
which could be fun.
And then they could be like, each episode could be a new name for this place. You know, because they're idiots. Our band of explorers, they're morons because it's a comedy series. And so they, like, can't decide on what they're going to name it. That could be fun. But also, it's obviously, like, there's flags.
These people, there's already people that live here.
Yeah.
It's already been discovered.
They speak the same language as them.
They're like, this is crazy. You also speak English? And they're like, yeah. It's like, it's crazy how they must have developed this over time, like years and years. There must be some, greater connection of world lingual movements that ultimately lead to English as the final decision. The guy in the background, like, no, an English guy came through years ago and taught us. No. I think this is like truly astounding. The way that you developed this. I mean, it's
Bro, I was
it really
born in Brooklyn.
shows
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
What? They've got like all like libraries and shit, but they're like, "Oh my god, this is incredible. We'll be heroes." Heroes for what? You just got here. You haven't done it, and we'll be heroes. Okay. And we could have like the town where the people are that speak English. That'll be on the outskirts of this continent, right? And so that our adventuring band can still have some fun adventures going into the deep dark jungle and meeting, interesting tribes and encountering all sorts of interesting and dangerous fauna and flora.
All right, I think it would be good if they were in, like, China, or maybe the back half of Russia, right? And the show is, like, them progressing from one side to the other, and they think that they're still, like, going to new lands. Like, they don't realize that they've gone around the world, and they're back in, like, they're gonna get all the way back to the United States and be like, we found, like, an identical civilization to our own, and they even do soda like this too, in these cans. This is insane. They have the same products. And then one of the characters sees their mom, and they're like, they even have my mom here. This is crazy.
Oh my god.
An exact replica.
Yeah.
And then mom would be like, what are you doing,
Jeremy?
Billy? Jeremy? Why are you acting like this? She's like, no, I am not your Jeremy. I am another Jeremy that's come from across the world.
I've crossed some sort of dimensional line that doesn't exist on any maps and entered into another Earth, into Earth 2. It's like, Jeremy, you owe the IRS so much money. It's like, I have to go back to the dimensional portal. And they get back on the boat and they drive back all the way back to the other side of Russia. They're like, all right, we have to travel back to our own dimension. Are you boys ready to make this journey once again? And they're all like, yeah, I guess. And then they just wander off into the woods. It'll be good. Yeah. So, what level of technology? Because I am imagining these are the guys with like the, you know.
I'm thinking this is like the 50s, 60s, right?
Yeah.
So it's like that level.
Yeah, they've got, you know, the high leather boots that Han Solo wears, and they all wear tan jackets, you know? We should have a bunch of different nationalities, right? Because that's fun. We can have an American, obviously, because we're both Americans.
So I'm thinking,
and also America.
Our captain is an Australian named Captain Bounder.
I was gonna say Australia will have him have that fun hat that like is up on one side, but then like out on the other side, like the one that Preston Garvey has in Fallout 4.
So we got this Australian captain who's a complete idiot, but like, you know, he has the charisma for leadership.
Yeah, he's received multiple letters and medals, you know, letters of commendation and medals and stuff from his time in the war, but they never specify which war, and it was actually in the Emu War. Have you know about that?
And maybe he's constantly referencing wars.
Yeah.
And, like, all of it is different wars. And they're like, so were you in Vietnam? And they're like, Vietnam is like, just happening. How would he be in Vietnam?
What? It's still
Are
happening.
you in the Second World War?
Are you kidding me? Those Germans are scary as hell. He's in the he fought in the war, in the Great Emu War, which I think happened in the 1800s. But we can flub the numbers a bit. It doesn't really matter what year everything takes place in.
I think we should never mention what actual war he's in. It's just sort of a thing that's there.
Okay, we can have it be our head canon. At least my head canon. The Great Emu War, which the Australians actually lost, which I think is very funny.
Wow, that's like one of the stupidest internet facts that people always mention.
Yeah.
We're like, did you know the Australians lost to birds? Did they really lose to birds?
I mean the birds are still there.
So are the Australians.
So I guess it's a stalemate.
They stopped fighting.
It's more of, yeah.
It wasn't even a war.
Maybe they have like a demilitarized zone. That could be funny. On one side.
I'm thinking next we got Dr. Hillary Scratch, who's like our linguist, you know, culture expert.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But she's actually not a doctor.
Maybe that's her first name.
That's just like her, it's just her first name.
Her dad and mom
she has
had great
no
expectations.
actual experience, but she's enthusiastic.
Which is that's what Captain Bounder's looking for in his crew. Enthusiasm.
But he's like, no, but he thinks she does, because he hears the word doctor. She's like, Hillary knows what she's talking about. She's a doctor. She's like, well, actually, that's my first. Hillary, you know, you can handle this.
Hillary, shush.
Go.
And get back to telling us what to do. Hillary, be quiet and keep telling us what we need to do. God, it's not hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so we've got Dr. Scratch, the enthusiastic but, completely unexperienced doctor of linguistics. But she's actually maybe she's just got a master's in linguistics.
She's got a bachelor's degree.
She graduated
English.
community college. She has an associate's degree in linguistics.
Next, we need like a navigator next. Someone that can
Yeah.
a guide who can bring them through the lands, but actually has no idea. Maybe he's a zookeeper or she's a zookeeper.
How about they're blind?
And that's the extent of their knowledge of the lands.
Yeah, okay. I like that. The zookeeper turned navigator. Professor Hemrind von Lichtenstern.
That's way too long.
Yeah, it is long. But I think Hemrind.
Go with Professor. Professor Hemlock.
Professor Moloch?
Hemlock.
Hemlock, okay. I like that, because hemlock's dangerous, I think. Maybe. I don't know very much about plants. That's why I'm not
Zookeeper.
a navigator or a zookeeper.
It's not actually a professor. That's just like his zookeeper thing. Like,
Yeah, it's
like, this is Professor Hemlock, and it's just some guy that,
yeah.
works at the zoo.
That's what they used to call him at the zoo, like as a joke, because he was the guy who had to clean out all of the pens and stuff. It's like, oh yeah, we got the professor over here working hard, and he's just shoveling shit into a big pile. And they're like, hey, do you know that in like 80 years they're gonna say that word in a Star Wars television series? And he's gonna be like, what's a Star Wars?
Yeah. Then we need a kid. We need like someone's daughter, right?
Yeah. You always
Should
need
be
a kid.
Hemlock's daughter or Bounder's daughter?
How about it's Bounder's daughter that he adopted, quote unquote adopted, but he just like found a kid and was like, come on, let's go. He kidnapped the child, and he makes her come on adventures with him.
Violet Bounder. Violet's not a good name. It's a better name. Something that starts with a B.
Treader. No.
It's a girl's name.
Captain.
She's not a captain.
The kid. The
Captain's kid.
Yeah. Okay. Bethica.
Beth Bounder. Call her Beth Bounder. Becca Bounder.
Becca Bounder.
So her name's Rebecca, but they call her Becca. Becca Bounder.
And let's come up with they'll have a nickname for her, because that's
Becca.
That's what old timey ships had. They had nicknames. I'm assuming that they have even though modern-ish like metal ships exist, they still are on like old timey wooden ships with masts and rigging and all that stuff. Just because
it's the 50s, Charlie.
Yeah.
Not the 1800s.
Yeah, I know, but I want them to be on an 1800 ship because I think that'd be funny.
That doesn't make any sense. No.
Neither does.
And they would not survive the journey across the ocean with an 1800 ship with 4 people.
Yeah.
Gotta be somewhat reasonable.
Yeah, you're right. They'll have a bunch of.
We'll give them. I think we could do. It could be cool if they had a nice, sleek steel ship.
Yeah. Okay. A nice sleek steel ship that Captain Bounder painted like flames on the side of because he thought it made it go faster.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's the nickname for the girl? How about Rat? Rat. Or Pest. Like she's just scuttling about the ship, stealing food and stuff. 'Cause she's just a child. She didn't really know what's going on. I want to avoid giving her a cute nickname. Like, oh, Mouse. Like, that's a cute nickname. Rat.
Okay. I don't really see it yet, but.
How about Gopher?
No, I mean, I don't see the purpose of the nickname.
Because
I'm cool.
I don't want them to yell, Becca Bounder, or Becca. I want them to be like...
Does anyone say your full name when they yell at you besides your mother?
If I'm in trouble, yeah, some people.
If someone is getting your attention, they just say your first
Oh,
name.
what? You've never been inside of a classroom when they call attendance? People say your full name all the time.
Anyways, so pilot episode. I'm thinking we start off on the boat. They're already there. We don't need origins,
we
right?
don't need to have introductions or like building a team. No. They're all on the boat already, sailing. Maybe we could have the entire first episode just be on a boat, except for the last, 5 to 10 minutes.
I don't know how we're getting the story out of that.
Well, it's an introduction. Characters. Maybe we can have them fight a ghost, but the ghost isn't real. They're just all so stupid that they think that a ghost is stealing their stuff, and they've just all misplaced it. Or Rat's gotten it, and she's taken it. And
I'm thinking they have to find an island.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
And because we're in the Pacific, and it's post World War II, the island has to have Japanese soldiers that don't realize the war's over yet.
Always. That's a classic trope, and I love it.
That's the way it's got to be.
It's a good trope, mostly
Something
because
in
it's
pilot
real.
episode is we can do a lot on the boat, but this island and these Japanese soldiers that think the war isn't over can be the
A story.
A story.
Yeah, and then with the B story can be like a bit sillier, right? It can be
And
like
the C can be like something even silly.
yeah. The C story will be like Becca. Becca's building some sort of like Captain Bounder never actually gave her a bed or anywhere to sleep, so she spends the entire episode like constructing a bed out of like stolen materials from around the ship. That's the C story. Maybe.
And that it's resolved because at the end she takes one of the beds from the Japanese soldiers.
Yeah, she takes. Yeah, they resolve the conflict non-violently. Because
should they bring a Japanese? Wait, would that be something? Like we get a character from this?
oh, I would like that. That would be good, actually.
We get a Japanese soldier.
Maybe the Japanese soldier is like he is an actual doctor or navigator or something, like a medic, and he is like an actually intelligent person, but he only speaks Japanese. So they all think he's just as dumb as they are, and he's constantly suggesting the correct solution to problems. And they're like, "That's a good idea."
Let's call him Takeo Ida. That's a name of a soldier.
Yeah,
I just looked
Takeo
up Japanese soldier
Ida.
names in World War II.
That's a good idea, Takeo, but not today. We can't, we're a little too busy to be playing poker in the middle of this firefight, but good, I like your enthusiasm. Now let's get back to it. And he's like, why don't we just turn their own guns on them, like with this, switch? And he...
Okay, wait, I just thought of maybe what we should do with this. Pilot episode, let's make Professor Hemlock an actual professor who knows what he's doing, right?
Yeah, okay.
And he gets killed by the Japanese, and the sort of the remedy of it, right, is that the Japanese agree that they should give a person to make up for their lost guy, so they give them Takeo Ida, who's like this grizzled Japanese veteran who speaks no English at all.
He's like missing one leg and like half of his, half an arm and like.
Maybe I want him to look badass though. So maybe he's just missing an eye and he has an eye patch.
He's got an eye patch.
And he's got like he's like an officer, so he's got like a ceremonial sword and maybe a rifle as well.
Give it, one of those cool like big World War II rifles. So he's got like a not a cutlass, but he's got like a saber that he keeps on his side. He's got that.
Why the fuck would he have a saber if he's Japanese, Charles? I just said he's a...
no, but that's...
he's a katana, man.
It's like kind of... They didn't just give katanas out to people willy-nilly.
That's fucking storytelling 101. If he's Japanese, he has a katana.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. He's Japanese. He has a katana.
Trying to give him a saber, a cutlass.
I don't want to give him a cutlass. I want to...
What, do you want to dress him up in knight's armor? This isn't the medieval ages.
That saber is not a medieval sword.
If it was the medieval ages of Japan, he'd be in samurai armor. He'd have a katana.
He'd have a big old katana, and he'd have a littler katana that he would keep in his back pocket for emergencies.
This guy's, he's got a katana, he's got a rifle.
And he's got a one of those those fun hats that the Japanese soldiers had during World War II, the ones that had the flaps at the back so your neck didn't get sunburned. He has one of those. Yeah. And he speaks no English, and he's ready for combat. His first solution to all the problems is just to kill it over and over again. The big sword. And so he's very, very bad for...
But a lot of times, maybe he's right.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and they run into something, and he's, like, trying to kill them. They're like, no, Takeo, we can't kill this guy. And he's like, no, we need to, quickly. You idiots. They'll murder us all.
Yeah, it could be...
But he can't say that, obviously.
Yeah, he says it in Japanese. Because I'm assuming he has... We have subtitles on for whenever he talks.
Yeah, so the audience knows what he's saying, but the rest of us are just like... Or, like, you know, the characters are like, what? Come on.
It would be funny. I'm trying to think of a funny way for Professor Hemlock to die. And maybe he gets so annoyed with all the rest of the crew that when they land on the island, he's like, just give me some time to cool off. He goes off... And just like as soon as he steps onto the beach, he falls right into one of those spike traps.
Yeah.
And just like, or maybe a landmine, and he just blows up, and they're all like, "Oh, shit!" And they, have to prove to the Japanese that they're the ones who killed him with their traps. And it's like the captain.
Well, it could be kind of like of a horror thing at first, right? They're like, oh, what's on the island? It could be something dangerous.
Yeah. And then,
but like they're not really totally aware of the danger.
Mm-hmm. And then like they come through the bush, just like all dramatic, like slicing off down the leaves with a machete or whatever. They come through the bush, and it's just like this little tiny Japanese village. Not even a village, but it's just like 3 shacks. One of them is like a bar. You've just got a bartender. He's mixing up like tropical drinks, and all the other soldiers are just sitting around playing cards. They're like, yeah, this is the lazy division. Whenever you hear about the Japanese soldiers that still think the war is going on, it's always like the most extreme, hardcore soldiers out there who are like, they're training every day, and they've got all their traps and everything. It's like, now these guys are so lazy. They're completely unaware of what's going on. They don't care. They turn the radio off at some point a few years back, and they're just relaxing. They're just chilling. Except for Takeo, who is like, he sits in the crow's nest, but he's only got one eye, so he's a very ineffective crow's nester. And they come through, and they're like, what the hell? And maybe one of them speaks like a bit of English, so that there can be a bit of a back and forth between.
Maybe they jump them, and the Japanese like tie them up, right? Mm-hmm. And they're gonna kill them, but then they realize that maybe Dr. Hillary Scratch knows German.
Yeah. Okay.
And she speaks German, and they're like, "Oh, you're Germans. Oh, okay." And then they like let him free, and like the one Japanese person that speaks a bit of English is like, "Oh, we thought you were
filthy Americans and Australians.
Americans. Sorry, you all look the same to us. We just assumed you weren't Germans." And they're apologizing, and they're like, "Okay, to make up for the man you lost, we'll give you one of ours."
Yeah, Takeo, get down here. He's like, ugh. He crawls down from that thing.
Yep.
And he gets down, and they're standing on his left side. Like the whole crew, our crew is standing on his left side, and that's where his eye patch is. So he's talking to his superior officer, who's like 15 years younger than him, because that's bureaucracy for you. He's talking to him, and he's like, Takeo, I want you to meet your new crew. He looks over, he sees our crew, he's like, holy shit, and he like pulls out his sword and gets ready to kill him. And they're like, no, they are in charge of you now. Go with them. We don't want you anymore. You're bumming everybody out. And Takeo's like, oh, damn. Fine.
Poor Takeo.
Because every comedy series needs a straight man who's just constantly the butt of all of the, not all of the jokes, but he's the one who deals with the problems. That's kind of it's one of the necessities for a comedic series. Like Boimler in Star Trek Lower Decks. or Jerry Seinfeld in Seinfeld.
I think George is the butt of the jokes.
I think
in
you're
Seinfeld.
right. I was gonna say George is the butt of the jokes in Seinfeld. But yeah, and so he's just like this. He's a very straight, normal, completely sensible guy, and he's just around all of these fucking lunatics who are on this ship. I think we need to have, because right now we only have 3 crew members, not including the little girl. So I think we need to have another member of the crew. You know?
Really? Okay.
I think we have to have more than just 4 people. I think we need to have 5, including the little girl, including Gopher.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that they need some sort of like a medic, you know?
Someone who's good with medicine.
Because they're constantly like getting injured and stepping on traps.
Be a student in their residency, and this is what they got for their post.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. They just graduated medical school, bottom of their class.
Let's say
they just graduated medical school, second to last in their class. They would have been last except for that one of the guys in their grade got kicked in the head by a donkey, and he didn't do very well on the tests after that. But they've just graduated and they're ready to start fresh, new, exciting new adventure, and they get, maybe their residency like manager or whatever, I don't know how doctors work, is like friends with Captain what's his name? Captain Bounder. And he's like, I need a medic. And it's like, okay, fine, you can have this one. It's the worst one we have. It's like, great. Perfect for my crew.
Dr. Wright. Let's just name it Dr. Wright.
All right, Dr. Wright. I was going to say Dr. Edward Gloth, but that doesn't work as well as Dr. Wright, who's always wrong.
Dr. Wright is always wrong.
Yeah. And that's the...
Has no idea.
That's the end. And so, yeah, Doctor will be like... it could be very funny. It was like the first, Professor Hemlock just, like, steps on a landmine and blows, like, himself in half. And Dr. Wright gets off the boat and immediately starts doing CPR on him. Even though he's, like, missing his entire, like...
Everyone's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm trying to save this man.
His, like, rib cage down is all gone. And he's like...
Get me 10 cc's of morphine stat. And I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna help. No, it's for me, not the patient.
Yeah, God. Look at him, he's dead. There's nothing I can do.
He's beyond dead. He's super dead.
Pretty dead. I mean, I haven't seen many more people deader than this guy. And I'm a doctor, he says as he injects the morphine into himself. Oh, yeah, that's good stuff. They don't make it like they used to, huh? You used to have to snort it. They're like, no, you've never had to snort morphine.
I don't think you did.
Well, I've been doing something wrong this entire time. No wonder I was the second to worst doctor in my class.
Maybe it can be assumed that he actually cheated the whole time. Like it's sort of insinuated that he cheated to a barely passing grade.
Yeah. He cheated off the guy who got kicked in the head by the donkey.
But I'm thinking this series, like, we do that pilot episode, we kind of continue, we go into China, right?
Yeah.
That way we can, like, go into, like, a big city and have them think that they just found, like, a big city for the first time. But everyone's like, this has been here a super long time. In fact, other... Western people know about this and have known about this for a long time. What do you guys...
You guys never read a history book? What the fuck? And Takeo's just standing there like, I don't like this at all. Aren't we at war with these guys? And the whole crew's like, nah, it's fine, Takeo. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Shush.
Hillary can be like, trying to understand, like, their language, and, like, it's so complex. they use like pictures instead, and like blah blah blah. And everyone's like, oh, this is so weird. And they're like, other people have translated this. You don't need to.
They walk.
Oh my God, they speak English too, but they don't quite understand the words they're saying. That's interesting. So they're just saying random things that don't make sense, because clearly I know what I'm doing.
Obviously, I'm a doctor. I know what I'm up to. They just like wandered. There's just like for whatever reason, there's just like an English bookstore, you know, just in the middle of a huge city in China, and just run by like a British dude. And they walk in, and they're like, "My God, sir, you bear a striking resemblance to someone I once knew. Tell me, how did you come to this new land?" It's like, new what? New land? You guys never seen a globe before? This has been here for a while. This is truly incredible. A new culture, completely separate and away from every other society on the planet Earth, and they've developed English and books and other things like this. And he just holds up like a can of soda or whatever, something really mundane, or a pencil. He's like, look at this incredible craftsmanship. It says...
It's absolutely fascinating how the world develops.
It says Made in America on the side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then each episode, they encounter a new thing, and we can have, they'll go to a big city, maybe then...
They'll go farther and farther, deeper into China, and then across the Middle East, and up into Europe, probably.
Yeah, they could go to Siberia for a bit. They could try and, they're just in the woods in Siberia, and they try and, establish contact with a bear.
Well, do we want them to stick with the boat? Or not?
I think that they...
Because we can have them go up the river... What's the river called in China? Yang? Something?
The Yangtze? Isn't that the river?
Yangtze?
Yeah.
I think so. They have them go up the river, right? Yeah. And then, once they, decide they've gone far enough, they come back down, and maybe they go down through, the southern part of Asia, and they pass, Vietnam, and they're they're see the war going on. And they're like, shit, well, let's not go there.
Yeah, they don't look like they're having a great time. They just keep playing Fortunate Son over and over and over again.
Maybe they go to Australia, and they're like, Captain Bounder, who is Australian, is like, this place looks so familiar. I just can't
put my finger on it. Did I watch some sort of science fiction film many years ago that I've forgotten? And he just, his accountant is there, and he tries to wave him down because he's in horrible debt, and he's just like, keep going, just keep sailing, go. Yeah.
Or, another possibility, we could reveal that he's actually not Australian. Mm-hmm. He's a French guy that's pretending he's Australian.
He's put the accent on.
Mm-hmm.
I've been living a lie my entire life.
Or some other nationality, but he's always pretended he's Australian because
Because everyone likes Australians. Nobody likes the French. Yeah. That's a fact. The French will tell you that. Yeah. And then I think we stick with the ship for the first season. Season 2, they can abandon the ship because of some huge plot relevant thing. Yeah, there's pirates or something. Should we have them discover anything supernatural?
If I feel like they might think it's supernatural, but it's not.
Yeah.
I don't know if this should be a supernatural show.
I think you're right. I think they should be they try and, maybe they run into a bunch of manatees and they, cobble together a 50s style, scuba diving outfit and try and establish contact with this underwater marine society that's actually just a bunch of manatees. That are they're just manatees. They're sea cows, basically. They don't do anything. Why don't we farm manatees? That's a good idea. I'm gonna write that down.
Oh my god.
This is for later.
I'm sorry.
Farm
audience. For Charles.
Manatee.
I don't know. It's ideas, I guess.
But
Like, what? Well, I don't know what he's saying.
I'm the same.
I think the show has to end with the America landing. They get to the United States.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is the... I can't believe it. We've done it.
We've done it.
Like, we found a whole nother place. And then like in the last episode, it's like they found like this... They think they found like an alternate reality United States. And they go all the way back so they can get home. Right? So the last episode is like is one of the characters, let's say, Founder, like sees his mom, right? And he's like, "This, you're not my real mom. You're the alternate reality mom." But you know, we've gone this far. I think we should go back and write our books about our travels and, you know, tell the world about what we've seen. And they go all the way back in the final episode. And he sees his mom again. She's like, "You were just here. You just went around." Like, he's like, "Haha, silly mom. I guess your memories from your previous
faded.
self, from your alternate self, have combined with that of your own. We've collapsed reality onto itself." What are you saying?
What the fuck are you talking about, son?
That makes no sense.
Do you have an Australian accent now? Be quiet, mother. I have to go. Maybe he just talks like an American, but everyone constantly references his Australian accent.
Yeah, that'd be kind of funny. He's an American accent, and occasionally will say things like in an Australian accent.
Shrimp on the Barbie. I did not...
Yeah, everything's...
I didn't realize this until quite recently, that shrimp on the Barbie is short for barbecue. I didn't even think about it. But
You're an idiot.
Yeah, I am. I'm 100% an idiot, and I stand by it. That's who I am.
Did you think it was a Barbie doll?
I didn't know. I thought they just had some fun, you know, I was like, is that just a fun Australian name for a grill? That's what I thought.
Did you think they put shrimp on top of the upcoming Margot Robbie film, Barbie?
Barbie, starring Margot Robbie, directed by Greta Gerwig. And also starring Ryan Gosling.
Charlie's favorite director, by the way.
I love Greta Gerwig. She's great. You all know it. I know it. Jake knows it, even though he hates the movie Lady Bird.
I don't hate the movie. I just thought it was weird.
Didn't we see that together?
That we saw that together.
Yeah. We saw it in theaters together. You,
for
me,
context,
and another guy.
Charlie was like, "I really want to see this movie." Yeah, it's not weird movie for your friend to just take you to.
Three 18-year-old boys, and we watched Lady Bird. I really liked it. I had a good time. What?
I still think it's weird that you took me
to see
that.
Did you want to see Last Jedi for the third time?
I don't know what else was out at the time, but probably.
I didn't want to see Last Jedi for a third time, even though I like The Last Jedi. I think it's good. People don't like it, but they are wrong. Nah, they're not wrong. Parts of that movie are good. Parts of it are the casino sequence.
All right. I think we've overstayed our welcome.
I think so too. But thank you all for listening to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast, 120th episode, Off the Bloody Dome. And before we go, we're gonna come up with a name really quick for this show. A ceaseless voyage. That's my name for it.
I feel like it should have like a really classic 60s adventure.
Yeah. The Adventures of Captain Bounder and the crew of the Dauntless Night Treader.
We could call it like, you know, something cliche like The Lost Worlds or something like that.
Yeah, that would be good. The Lost Worlds.
I think your title's a little too long.
I do think it is a little too long also. Whatever. Adventures of Captain Bounty. His name's not Bounty, it's another thing. I'm bad with names.
Bounder of Adventure. Why don't we call it Bounder of Adventure?
Bounder of Adventure. That's good. I like that. Alright. Bounder of Adventure. Coming soon to a television screen near you. Unless, like me, you're not near any television screens. Then a television screen far away from you.
No.
Yes.
All right. Oh. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you all for listening. Please like, follow, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dog, tell your cat, and please, if you have a better idea for a title, let us know down in the comments below. And have a good day.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.